ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
Ravilakshana Prabhu, we are ready, Prabhu.
गौरभक्तवृंद
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Shri Balaji Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Ravilakshana Gauranga.
We got your darshan. Hari Bol. Very nice. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya as we are approaching the Ramayan on a weekend. Amazing. So it's like we'll have a wonderful class today. And as we are just talking about the various pastimes of Ramayan, today will be Shabari Moksha. Very, very wonderful, sweet pastime. So I will just hand it over to Shri Balaji Prabhu. Again, Prabhu, thank you for taking this service. We're all excited to hear more about it. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhu.
Pray for me that I can do you do justice to the seva that Sankarshan Prabhu is given.
You're always blessed, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschakta Deshatari Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurav Dushena He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Karodi Vacharam Pangulangayate Yat Kripa Tamam Mande Shri Guru Dinataran Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Ishwar Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my audio is okay? Is it fine, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Audio is fine from my side. I can say. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So, yeah, welcome all for this wonderful Bhagavatam sessions that we're having, and especially this few days, our Sankarshan Prabhu has arranged for this Ramayana series of Ramayana pastimes, where we can set the mood for the upcoming Ramanavami on 6th April. So, first of all, let me thank Sankarshan Prabhu to given me this seva so that I can glorify the Lord and his devotees and the pastimes for, so that also for my purification also. So please Forgive me if there are any shortfalls. Hare Krishna. Now today, our topic is what Prabhuji has given me is Shabari Moksha, the deliverance of Mother Shabari. Now, before we go there, I was just reading, trying to understand what exactly Ramayana means. Many of you would know. So when I was going through, I saw that Ramayana, it has two words basically, Rama and Ayana. So Rama is obviously Lord Ram, and Ayana means path, the path that Lord Rama traversed, which means and Lord Rama is called Maryada Purushottam, and the all the pastimes in Ramayana are basically to make us humble. You know, what Lord Rama displayed in that particular, in all the pastimes during in the whole Ramayana, and his advent in this material world was idealist, was, you know, is very high, is a very tall order. But at least we should get humbled and, you know, in a sense, try to follow whatever instructions that Lord Rama, or through his pastimes, through his action, he was actually walking the talk. So through his actions and his interactions with devotees, we have, you know, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. And this particular pastime has also, and I was hearing to other reading and hearing, there are multiple points that came out, especially with this Mother Shabari pastime. Ayodhya, so that is Ramayana. Ayodhya means undefeatable. Nobody could defeat. And what we're talking here is Dashrath Maharaj ruled Ayodhya for almost 60,000 years, and nobody could defeat him, you know, Ayodhya. But the irony is, you know, we all know at the end, Dashrath Maharaj had to pass away. We all know that pastime where, you know, how he had to exile, how he was in utter despair and utter depression, or you call lamentation, in the way his most beloved son, Lord Ram, had to be banished to exile. And after ruling for 16,000, after being undefeated for the whole 60,000 years, but at the end, yeah, it's very sad that, you know, none of his sons were available when he passed, when he left this mortal world. So nothing is Ayodhya, nothing is undefeatable. It is Dukkhalaya Mashashvatam, and Ramayana pastimes, as I said earlier, I have instructions that make us humble. Okay, so that was Ayodhya, Ramayana, and and about how this material world is designed. And in Ramayana, this wonderful pastime of Shabari was. Let us go through that. So Shabari, in her past life, was a queen, and she was very much inclined to serve sadhus, to serve saintly persons. But, you know, the king never allowed, and she was kind of, you know, always told that, you know, you are a queen, you are from the royal family, so you shouldn't interact and you shouldn't mingle with this, you know, with the sadhus, or, you know, they were so-called looked as a low profile. Yeah, so she did not like that, and in fact, she became so depressed that, you know, she ended her life. She gave up her life. And then she was born in a hunter, that is Nishada family, Nishada tribal community. She was born as in that particular community, and she was very pious. You know, she had this background of piousness, and so she was very pious in her childhood also. But and in those days, the girl were married. There were child marriage, and the children were married at almost the age of 12 or something, 11 or 12. So her marriage was also fixed. And before the day of her marriage, Shabari saw that, you know, there were a lot of thousands of goats and sheep were brought by her father. And she did not know, she's not even not aware that, you know, why this is being done. So then she approached her mother and she asked, why so many goats and animals are here? So the mother said, you know, all these animals will be sacrificed because it is a marriage tomorrow. So these will be sacrificed and, you know, served to all those guests as dinner. Now, Shabari, with her past life and with the compassionate nature and the piety she had, she could not take that. She could not digest that particular fact, and moved by great compassion, she actually released all of them and she left her home and ran away in search of, in search of a spiritual master, guru who can direct her, who can understand her. And in that journey, at such a young age, in that journey, she met many yogis, many gurus, but none of them accepted her, because when they came to know that she was from a lower caste, like in a Nishad community, none of them accepted her. And that finally, at the foothills, there is this mountain called as Rishyamukha, which is very near to Pamba Sarovar. I'm not sure if you all have gone to Hampi anytime. So all these pastimes have happened over there. So there is a mountain called Rishyamukha, and there is a Pampa Sarovar also. So there she met Matanga Rishi. As soon as she met, the sage accepted her, knowing her, how pious she was and what is her background. Knowing her, he accepted her, though there was some resentment from Matanga Rishi's other disciples, but Matanga Rishi went beyond all these allegations and all these things and accepted her, and also blessed her that one day you will definitely meet Prabhu Shri Ram, and along with his brother Lakshmana. He blessed her also like that. So that we will see at the later point. But so this personality as Mother Shabari is what the pastime are we going to discuss today. Now the story starts. The pastime starts when Mother Sita is already kidnapped by Ravana, and somehow some indications were there. She has been taken towards the southern direction, the Dakshina direction. So Lord Ram and Lakshmana started moving into that direction. There were some indications as I read, so all the birds were flying towards south. Those kind of indications were there. So they started moving, and many things have happened as they moved. So they come to a particular place where, and this particular pastime is immediately after Jatayu Moksha. I think yesterday we were discussing about Jatayu Moksha. So this pastime is immediately after Jatayu Moksha, and they enter a deep jungle. And so many animals and all those things. And Lakshmana in the front was, making the path, cutting the branches and trees. And suddenly they hear a grumbling sound, the huge roar. So they understood that there was some kind of a Rakshasa. But what they could see is two big hands who were trying to, grasp and clasp Lord Ram and Lakshmana. And what Lakshmana did was he took out his sword and severed both the hands. And they were just walking. These hands were very long, and they started walking. And what they saw was, there was this Rakshasa. His name was Kabandha. They saw this Rakshasa who only had, kind of only a mouth and one eye. There was just a mouth and one eye. That's a very ghastly sight of a Rakshasa. And his long hands, which were severed, arms basically, which were severed by Lakshmana's sword. And then this Rakshasa started speaking. That he asked, "Who are you two princes?" And so the Lakshmana introduced that, and this is Lord Ram, and I'm Lakshmana. And Kabandha Rakshasa was very happy. Yeah. So then he started narrating what exactly happened. So this Kabandha, he said, "My lord, I was a Gandharva in my in the past. And I was cursed by a rishi called as Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra Muni Rishi was deformed at 8 places. He was bent in 8 places. And he, out of pride, this Gandharva, because Gandharvas have a beautiful body and a divine body, and a very beautiful. So out of that pride, he kind of laughed, mocked at Ashtavakra Rishi. And the Ashtavakra Rishi cursed him that, you take birth. Since you have a lot of pride, so please take birth, and you'll take birth as a Rakshasa. And then when Kabandha he understood, where he was, what situation he would be in, he begged for mercy. And Ashtavakra Rishi, out of compassion, he said that none other than the Lord Ram and Lakshmana will come to you, and after they cremate you in a lonely forest, only then you will be released from my curse, and you will get back your original form. So having said this, Ashtavakra Rishi left, and this Gandharva in the form of a Rakshasa, Kabanda, was waiting in this forest. But what happened was this Kabanda Rakshasa also started performing some austerities. As all Rakshasas do, right? They try to gain power, and the best thing they do is perform a lot of penances and severe austerity. And with this, Lord Brahma was appeared in front of him. Lord Brahma granted him a boon of long life. Now, again, especially being in this Rakshasa body and with this boon of long life, he challenged none other than Indra into a matter. And obviously, he was defeated by Indra. And Indra, what he did was with his gada, he kind of hit so hard that all his limbs, this Rakshasa's, all his limbs, the head and everything went inside his trunk. So it was just a trunk that was available, that was visible. So again, Kabanda, felt it as, he kind of requested that please get me, my form back, and please do something for me, because his pride was totally crushed again. So what Indra did was he gave him long arms, and one mouth and one eye in that particular trunk. So only trunk was there with two long arms, and he said that you can feed yourself because you're Rakshasa, you eat a lot of things, but you will be delivered. Again, the same blessing what Brahma had given, because he said, I don't want to deliver you because I don't want to go against what Lord Brahma's boon. So Lord Ram and Lakshman will come, and you have to, they will sever your arms, and once they cremate you, you will be delivered. So with that, this Rakshasa was waiting all the time in this particular forest for Lord Ram and Lakshmana to come, and that's exactly what happened. So Lord Ram comes, and Lakshmana severs his hand, and then he requests Lord Ram to cremate him so that he can get his back, and he can provide further directions to Lord Ram. So this was the seva that he had. So Lord Ram, being very merciful, he performed the last rites of this Kabanda Rakshasa. And when the fire was burning from that, this Gandharva comes out, and he tells Lord Ram that you have to keep moving via the Paschim direction, but towards the south, and you have to reach to a place called as where there is a Sarovar, which is Pampa Sarovar, and there it is near the Rishamukh mountain, and there you will reach a Rishi, Matanga Rishi's ashram, and there you will meet Mother Shabari, who's waiting for you, eagerly waiting for your arrival, and she will provide you the further direction. So that's how Lord Ram and Lakshman was moving step by step, delivering many souls, and also now this particular pastime where Lord Ram is about to reach Pampa Sarovar. So Lord Ram and Lakshmana reach Pampa Sarovar. Now, to get the story in short, is Lord Ram meets Mother Shabari, and we all know this pastime. So Lord Ram meets Mother Shabari, was very much pleased by her service attitude and by her simplicity, by her eagerness and enthusiasm to serve. And he also accepted the, in Hindi we call it the Juta bear. So she had plucked berries, fresh berries, which she used to do every day, and was offering to Lord Ram. But before she was offering, she was tasting every berry, whether it is sweet. So she only offered the sweet berries to Lord Ram, and whatever was not so sweet, she used to discard it. And so that, that's how she served Ram. And very pleased by the service attitude of Shabari, Lord Ram, and we all know that Matanga Rishi, when he left this mortal world along with his disciples, he had instructed Mother Shabari to wait and wait till Lord Ram and Lakshmana comes to her. After that, she can come back. She will be delivered, and she can come back to do her further services along with Matanga Rishi. So that was her instruction from a spiritual master, and she was following that very nicely. So Lord Ram, after being pleased by Mother Shabari's service, he said, now you can go back go back to your services with Matanga Rishi and serve your spiritual master. And that's how this whole pastime is. And after that, Shabari, Mother Shabari also instructed Lord Ram the next what next action he has to take. Now, in this whole pastime, obviously the Lord's pastime along with his devotees are primary to give us some lessons. So there are many lessons in this very short and sweet pastime. I just have noted three particular lessons which we all can try to assimilate and, if possible, practice. So there are three aspects. One is the eagerness and enthusiasm. So eagerness combined with enthusiasm to serve the Lord and your spiritual master. That's the first one. Second one was how to offer with love. How to offer the Lord with love, offerings with love to the Lord. And the third one is simplicity. So these are the three very important lessons or themes basically from this whole pastime. Now, the first point where eagerness combined with enthusiasm. As I said earlier, Matanga Rishi instructed before leaving with his all disciples, going back to Godhead, instructed Mother Shabari to wait. Now, Mother Shabari, we remember that she had left her family to find a spiritual master at the age of very, very tender age. She left everything behind and wanted to serve a spiritual master, get directions, and she meets Matanga Rishi, who takes her in his shelter, guides her and gives her seven. She has been serving Matanga Rishi for many, many, many years. And at the pinnacle, when Matanga Rishi is leaving this mortal world to the next destination, Matanga Rishi is instructing Shabari to stay where you are. Now, this is a difficult, instruction for anyone to digest. If I may, if I remember, Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj had the seva of the mobile Sankirtan van, and he was doing this wonderful. I think it was in Mayapur. The wonderful book distribution and wonderful results were there because Prabhupada used to get the reports or status reports also. Wonderful seva it was there. But one day, Srila Prabhupada instructed Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj to just go to China. And without any flinch, he just left that seva, handed it over, and moved away. So to follow what Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Similarly, in one of the yatras, Kartik yatras, Mandakini Mataji was on the stage, and she was conveying this, she was praying to the Lord she was standing in front of the Lord, the deities, and she was praying that, my Lord, please give me the courage to say yes for any service that Srila Prabhupada gave. And she said that, the next day, Prabhupada asked her to go to Russia, marry this particular devotee and go to Russia and serve over there. Without flinching, she said yes. So it is very difficult for us to digest this fact. But Mother Shabari, just following the instructions of her Guru, of the spiritual master, accepted that seva, and she waited. She was waiting all the time for the arrival of Lord Ram and Lakshmana. Now we are talking about Treta Yuga. I'm not talking about some months or years. We are talking about many, many years. What she did every day was clear the path from where Lord Ram would be coming, and prepare wonderful garlands, clean the entire area where she was, keep nice asanas for Lord Ram and Lakshmana to sit, and also collect fruits so that whenever the Lord comes, offer him some bhoga from bhoga, offer this wonderful fruits and berries. This she did for many, many years. Now, believe me when I say that eagerness and enthusiasm, to keep this alive and always always fresh for many, many years, it is it's very difficult. For us also, doing one seva at the same time continuously, repeatedly, Forget the many, many years, but at least for many days or many months, it is a very difficult thing to do. The problem here is to look at variegatedness, that the conditioning is like that, we want to look at variegatedness. There should be some variety. But what pleases the Lord is eagerness combined with enthusiasm to follow the instructions given by your spiritual master, or for that matter, from your seniors also. Till the time, we are not been asked to do anything else. There are many examples now also who've been doing this seva. We have Pankajagiri Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu who have been who have taken Shrekh Darshan as instructed by Srila Prabhupada, and they're doing this seva for many, many, many years in Mayapur. So there are examples now also. But yes, that needs a lot of conviction and dedication and faith. In Srimad Bhagavatam, if you refer to Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text 3, it says, Sakatham Sevaya Tasya Kalena Jarasam Gataha Prishto Vartam Pratibruyad Bhartu Padava Anusmana. Srila Prabhupada translates, and this is from Uddhava pastime. So Srila Prabhupada translates, Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. And Prabhupada, if you read the purport, Prabhupada very beautifully explains what should be our mood. He says, transcendental service to the Lord is not mundane. The service attitude of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Prabhupada is talking about the service attitude. Generally, in old age, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service. In our material life, we have this age of 60 or 58 where you retire from this material service, but still people continue doing some job. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. This is the expectation that Prabhupada has clearly given all of us, especially from this particular shloka, in the purport of the shloka. In the transcendental service, there is no satiation. There is no dearth of satisfaction. There is never a point that yes, I am fully satisfied. There is no dearth. There is no point where, and therefore there is no retirement. Prabhupada very clearly says, materially, when a man becomes tired by rendering service in his physical body, he is allowed retirement. But in the transcendental service, there is no feeling of fatigue because it is spiritual service and is not on the bodily plane. This is the secret of it. It is never on the bodily plane. Any service which is done on the bodily plane with that particular consciousness, there will be satiation, there will be kind of satisfaction. But when it is done, or when it is not done on the bodily plane, when it is done on the soul level, there will never satiation, and there is never a feeling of fatigue. That's what Prabhupada is clearly mentioned. Service on the bodily plane dwindles as the body grows older, but the spirit is never old. And therefore, on the spiritual plane, the service is never tiresome. So wonderful instructions for all of us, how we should understand, how we should be serving, and how there is never a feeling that I am satisfied by my service. There is never a place for satiation. Okay. And the example is Srila Prabhupada. There is one particular pastime where Prabhupada was in Juhu, Bombay. And we all know, how there was a struggle to get the land and all. So, Prabhupada, the devotees went to Prabhupada that when they were not getting permission to build a temple, So Prabhupada said, well, never mind. If we don't get the permission, we will turn Hare Krishna land into a bus stop. We will have buses and we will fill up the buses with devotees and books and send the buses out for book distribution. And we will make Hare Krishna land a bus stop. And that was the enthusiasm, that was the conviction, that was the eagerness Prabhupada had to serve Krishna in whatever situation, whatever we had in hand. So Prabhupada, he always saw how to utilize every situation in Guru and Krishna's service. So that should be the impetus that we all should have while we are serving, and serving to please Guru and Krishna. Okay. This was the first point, which is eagerness combined with enthusiasm. The second point was offerings with love. Now, we all know that particular pastime where Mother Shabari used to taste the berries so that she can offer the sweetest one to Lord Shri Ram. Now, we cannot obviously imitate that, because for us it is Vaidhi Bhakti and we have to follow the protocol, the rules of whether it is how to offer to the Lord. So this particular aspect where Mother Shabari was offering the berries after tasting, the Lord saw the intent and not the content. In fact, Lord Sri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram also offered it to Lakshmana, but he did not eat those. And at that time, it is mentioned that Lord Sri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram said that you eat it now, otherwise you will have to eat it in some other form at a later time. And which it is said that it happened that we all know when Lakshmana was unconscious by the arrows of Meghna, it is said that the herb that was brought, which was from this particular berry itself, is what it is told. And so now some or the other it will come back to us. Yeah. So Lord is, as I said, Lord sees the intent and not the content, because Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana. And to solidify this particular fact that Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana, in Bhagavad Gita we all know the famous verse that is from chapter 9, text number 26, which says Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti pavatam ashnami prayatmanah. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. So the condition is it has to be offered with love and devotion, immaterial of what you offer. Whether it is a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, the Lord will accept it. Okay. Now, in that particular purport for this shloka 9.26, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So he says, the process is so easy. The whole Krishna conscious process is so easy that even a leaf or little water or a fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one, therefore, can be barred from Krishna consciousness. So how beautifully Prabhupada is mentioning that, this process is so simple. Anyone can do this process to please the Lord. And how? Just by offering a small leaf, water, or a fruit, a flower, anything. So it is very simple for anyone. So that's what Prabhupada is writing. No one therefore can be barred from Krishna consciousness, because it is so easy and universal. Anyone can do it. There is no concept of this person is Shudra or whatever. There is no concept of that. Okay. So because it is so easy and universal, then Prabhupada writes, who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by this simple method and thus attain the highest perfectional life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge? So Prabhupada is saying, it is such a simple process by just offering these four things with love and devotion and become Krishna conscious by the simple method. And the result is that you attain the highest perfection of life. So it is a very good bargain, right? You do very simple things, but what you get is a very highest perfection life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Srila Prabhupada further writes in that particular purport. He says, and this is a very wonderful instruction that Prabhupada has given to all of us. He says, the important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. So Prabhupada writes, the important element in what? In three aspects: in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. This is the only thing that Krishna wants from us. He doesn't want, otherwise, you would have, instead of patram pushpam phalam to, you would have said, goldum, diamondum, silverum, all those you could have said. But here, very simple things. The process is very simple, which cannot be, which cannot be negated by anyone. A very simple process that we follow and achieve the highest perfection in life. Now, in this particular pastime of where Mother Shabari was offering this berries after tasting it, it is also mentioned that Mother Shabari always, as soon as she got the instruction from a spiritual master, from that point onwards, in her tongue, it was always the name of Prabhu Sri Ram. Ram, 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 Ram. Every time, whatever she does, whatever she is doing, there is always the name of Prabhu Sri Ram on her tongue. Now, if she has put the berries in her mouth or on her tongue, because tongue is what tastes it, right? So on the tongue is Prabhu Sri Ram. So it is as good as she has offered it to Prabhu Sri Ram, and again she's offering it to Lord Ram. So that is also one other aspect where it is mentioned that it was never a juta. It was never, how do I English please? It was never tasted first and then tasted by herself and then given to offer. It was actually tasted by Lord Sri Ram, because Lord Sri Ram always resided on her tongue, and she was actually offered it to Lord Sri Ram and then offered it back to Lord Sri Ram. So that is another aspect. So this was the second aspect of offerings with love. Whatever we do, whether it is in the form of doing some service, whether it is form of giving some offerings to the Lord, some bhava to the Lord, whether it is in the form of interacting with devotees, whether it is in the form of trying to resolve some kind of conflicts, but in any other form, there should be always, it should be done with the consciousness that I am doing it for the pleasure of, it should be pleasing to the devotees, and it should be done for the pleasure of the Lord. If this particular consciousness is there, our offerings will be definitely accepted in any form they are. Yeah. This is the second point. The third aspect, the third key aspect of this whole pastime is the simplicity of Mother Shabari. Lord Ram was so happy, so pleased, and so impressed by the simple nature of Shabari. What she used to do, I mean, in her daily routine, she used to, whatever activities were, whether it is cleaning the path, whether it is cleaning the area where asana, whether it is collecting fruits, whether it is, offering anything to the Lord, everything was done in such simplicity. Lord Ram was so pleased. So the Lord is actually pleased by the simple nature of a devotee. Yeah. We always heard of simple living and high thinking. One devotee was actually mentioning that why simple? It should be simple living and simple thinking also. Right? That is also we can do. Now, devotional service is actually very simple. And for that matter, if we, in third canto, where there are, it is mentioned that, the child in the womb prays to the Lord. The child in the womb is offering, in the womb of his mother, is offering prayers to the Lord. How more simple it can be. Now, if you all know, the child in the womb is in a very precarious position and a condition also. In that position, the child in the womb is offering prayers to the Lord. When we are out of the womb, the soul forgets that, what he has prayed in the womb, and then runs after material sense gratification. Yes, we were fortunate enough that, we got the association of devotees, and somehow we have been pulled back and, got into the right path. But here we are talking about the child, the soul in the womb, the child in the womb, the mother is praying. How more simple it could be that, obviously the child, when I mean by that, the child doesn't have any paraphernalia to worship the Lord, doesn't have any offerings to give to the Lord, but just simple, sheer prayers, heartfelt prayers to the Lord, that my Lord, you put me in this condition. I will ensure that, when I come out, I will be your servant. I will, I will pray. I will never forget and all this. But the moment He comes out of the Lord, see everyone clapping and laughing, and doing all this gibberish talks to the child that has come out of the womb. The child forgets everything. Seeing all those, the paraphernalia changes as soon as he comes out of the womb, of the mother. So how simple it can be. So bhakti is so simple that without any paraphernalia, we being in the womb, we're praying to the Lord. How more simple can be. Now there are simplicity. There are some. This is the last point where there were some couple of almost 20, 26, 27 points about what signifies a simple person. Who is a simple person? So we will just touch upon 3 points. There are many, almost 26, 27 points are there. And this is from, there is a shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4.22.24. A very beautiful shloka. These are some of the aspects from that particular shloka. So what is how a simple person is, who a simple person is. So the first point is, I'll just mention 3 points and then we can conclude. So the first point is, a simple person does not agitate others. A simple person does not agitate others. In 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one of the important quality of devotee is yasma nodvijite loko, loka nodvidechaya. A person who does not cause agitation to others, and one who is not agitated by others. A person who is not agitated by others is the dhira. So there are many instances in Bhagavatam also where even bad news are conveyed without giving agitation to the other living being. So which means before we speak to somebody, we should do a triple filter test. We have to filter what we are speaking to others so that we do not. There is also shloka, if you want to refer to Anudbekam Karam Vakyam. In that particular, this is part of how we should communicate. So Anudbekam Karam Vakyam. In that, Krishna says, first one is Anudbekam, do not agitate others. That is how our speech should be. So a simple person is one who does not agitate others. So before we pass any information, we have to see whether it is good, truth, and useful. That's a very beautiful shloka. I will give the reference a little later. I forgot the reference shloka number. So first one is, a simple person does not agitate others. The second one, a simple person does not think too much. Now, in this particular position that we are, with all those over-intelligence, so-called technology, which we are, so much kind of information available, we have made our lives complicated. Okay. Now, I'll just explain this with a small story. There was this farmer who had his, they extract the oil with the bull. So that is this well, not a well, but the area where the bull has to move a wheel. So that wheel is tied to a bull, and when the bull moves, the wheel crushes the oil seeds, and then oil is extracted. So the bull has to go around and round to crush the seeds, which are kept in the middle. And then, and this farmer had tied a bell to the neck of the bull. So when the bull was moving, the bell was, ringing. It was making sound as the bull moved. So now this so-called buddhijeevi or logician came there. So such people always look for logic behind everything, if this is like that, what is the logic? Can you give me, scientific explanation for that and logic? And, they don't accept anything which is beyond logic. So they always look for logic behind everything. So he asked the farmer, why is the bull having a bell in its neck? So farmer said, simple. If I have some other work to do. So if I cannot sit here, how do I know whether the bull has stopped? So simple fact, if he has the bell, it will make noise. So if the bull is moving, there is a sound. But if he stops, the bell doesn't move. And then, I come and then I push the bull so that he again starts churning the oil seeds and extract the oil. Now the so-called logician says, brings up a point. Says, if in case the bull stands at one place and just shakes his head and rings the bell, then what you will do? Now the farmer replies, see, you are a logician, but my bull is not like you. He is very simple. So he will not have all this, thoughts that, if I stand like this and shake my head and, all this. So that is how we have to simply accept it. Obviously, we should not blindly accept everything. And Prabhupada also was very particular about it, that do not blindly follow everything and anything. We have to have, there should be a scriptural reference, but do not, and we all know, we are all aware, for example, especially, if I may, the concept of Jambudvipa. What difficulty it is for us to accept that, yes, it is how it is. It is how Krishna has created that particular nation. If there, we kind of trying, scientists will, if we tell some scientists that, there is a Jambudvipa and there is a Meru Parvat and all, they will, obviously, we all know what the answer would be. So we have to be simple to say, accept it. That's it. Because we have to have faith. I really, okay, so we have to be very simple to accept it. Instead, we should not ask why Krishna is having a flute. Why not he have a violin in his hand? We should not misinterpret the verses, but should try to understand how the verses are practically useful for us. What is that underlying message that is applicable for me, and how I can put that in action. So this is what a simple person should be. This is how a simple person should think. We have all of the scriptures which has been, obviously these scriptures are not written overnight. Somebody has through logic and all. These are realizations of our acharyas. We all know from Srimad Bhagavatam that Vyasadeva, he wrote the Upanishad, the Purans and everything, but he was despondent. And then when the spiritual master, Sriman Narad Muni, comes and asks him why he is despondent, and then explains how he can resolve this despondency, that is when he writes Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is written from such a realized person who could see, who could envisage what is going to come up. Such scripture that we have, how difficult it is to not have just simple faith on it that, yes, this is written by our acharyas and this is how it should be. Yes, but from our conditionings, it is sometimes very difficult, but we can make a conscious effort to, pull ourselves back when we're trying to understand it logically, rather than having a simple faith. Okay. That's a second thing. And the last point is, no, there are two more points. A simple person is focused on one thing. So Krishna, in many places, in all the shlokas, many shlokas, is mentioned that, Mamekam Sharanam Braja. He has mentioned. So if I just quote some of the points, Krishna. Okay, I'm not getting that particular point. Okay, so Krishna, you can just remember this, and Krishna himself has said that, you just focus on me. So that is what a simple person is focused on one thing. Ekeha Purunandana. Okay. So if you are not focused, our life becomes completely confused and full of and lost also, and full of distractions. Yeah. That's the third point. The fourth point, a simple person's hearing is simple. When our mind is not complicated, our hearing is simple. Else, what happens is we start concocting things. And that is why Srila Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is no concoction at all. It is as it is. Whatever Krishna has given, as it is, I'm presenting. That is the fourth point. The last point, fifth point, is a simple person does not depend on others too much. Srila Prabhupada, writes in Bhagavatam that dependency on anybody other than Krishna is a sign of misfortune. Krishna personally, during the Kurukshetra war, in the night, when those days fights where daytime they fight and nighttime everyone rests, and they can also go to other camps and come. Such kind of modesty was there. Krishna in the night used to clean the chariot, used to give bath to the horses without depending on others. Now Krishna has to do that. He did this on his own without depending on others. Krishna himself is showing by his own acts. This is the Lord that we're talking about. he can just perform anything, but he still exemplified that uh, we do not depend on others too much. Yes, there might be some dependencies from a physical perspective, ailment is there, yes. But as much as possible, and this physical ailment, it is also our fault only, right? We have not taken care of our health. That is why we are ended up in this physical ailment. We have to be dependent on others. Many times I've seen that in a person who's on bed, he's more feeling unfortunate that somebody else has to suffer. He has to depend on others, and somebody has to go all the way out of the way to help him. That this person who is lying on the bed feels more fortunate. So why? Yes, there might be some something from a past and all this there aspect is there, but yes, as far as possible we have to take care of health also. So simple person as much as possible does not depend on others too much. So these are the 5 points. There are many other points, but these are the 5 things which I felt could be applicable and could be put into action for all of us. And I speak about myself also. So at the end, to conclude, as I said earlier also, so Lord Ram was so pleased with Mother Shabari that he said, now you're perfect, you're alive, you can go back to your service, to your spiritual master. And Mother Shabari, then accepting this as a blessing from Lord Ram, was ready to go back to her spiritual master and for the further services. And then she points out that, you have to go to across this Pampa Sarovar, there is a Rishamukha mountain where Sugriva lives, Monkey King lives. Sugriva was one of the chiefs. We all know that pastime like Sugriva and Bali pastimes where, Bali was, there was a fight with the Rakshasa, and then Sugriva covered the mountain. All those things are there, where Bali became enraged when he came back. And then, he took his wife, Sugriva's wife, and Sugriva had to run away. And Rishamukha mountain was the only mountain where Bali could not enter. So Sugriva was actually banished. So now Mother Shabari says he is also banished. His wife has also been abducted. So he can help you to get your wife back. And then that there was a deal that if you get my wife also, I'll help you and all these things. So Mother Shabari said, if you help him to get his wife and his kingdom back, then he will search the entire earth over and over again to find Mother Sita wherever she is. And Mother Shabari also mentioned that he has this very powerful, empowered, transcendental person who can do anything. His name is Hanuman. So he's also there. Yeah. So this is the wonderful pastime of Mother Shabari. And with that, and we learned, a few things from this whole pastime, that, how we have to serve with eagerness and enthusiasm, how we have to serve, we have to give the offerings with love. And the third one, which we also saw, was how we should practice simplicity, how simple a person should be. There were 5 points which we saw of being simple. There are many other points of how a simple person should be. These are some of the things. So thank you so much for a patient hearing. I hope I could make some due justice and to the topic. Please forgive me if there are some shortfalls, or if I have misphrased or wrongly phrased. So Srimad Granth, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Granth Ramayan ki jai, Prabhu Shri Ramachandra ki jai, Mother Shabari jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the excellent, wonderful class, packed with so many things to learn. I think, in fact, you just actually summarize it very well, but I'll just do a quick recap of, you brought very wonderfully who was Shabari in the previous life, how she couldn't serve the sages. And then she had that long craving, and then she came the hunter's family, but still she had so much of compassion to the animals that, she actually did not want the sacrifice in her marriage, and she meets a spiritual master searching for everybody who could actually, the right spiritual master for her. And once she actually met Matanga Rishi, and then, he was about to leave with his disciples, but he asked her to wait. And the entire thing of learnings, you just summarize in a very three, very, very three important ways of how we can understand from this entire thing. And one is about the eagerness combined with enthusiasm to serve the Lord and spiritual master. And then second was how to offer the Lord with love. and third one is the simplicity. You talked about in the first point of eagerness, you talked about the service has to be very pleasing to the spiritual master. And despite all the waiting of time, she was just doing it so sincerely.
Yeah.
And though she was in the forest, she didn't have anything. And you give wonderful examples of practically Tamal Krishna Maharaj, how he went to China, Mandakini Mataji going to Russia, Pankajangi Prabhu and Janivas Prabhu, how they are serving in Mayapur, and then you picked also from Canto 7, which talked about the attitude, which is very important here, so that there is no retirement in this sort of service because we are on a spiritual platform. You brought it very, very wonderfully and gave example of Prabhupada himself in Mumbai, how he was trying to say, we'll make Hare Krishna bus stop, if not in any other way. You talked about offering with love. Yes, you brought the thing about the Patram Pushpam, where Krishna says it's all about love. And you said Krishna consciousness is actually very simple and universal, Prabhupada says, and nobody can be barred. And it is only a fool who would not want to do it. And the one important element is in the preparation and serving and offering is to serve with love, act with love. So it's about dealing with the Vaishnavas and everything. And the third part you talked about is with reference to the simplicity, where you covered the various aspects from Srimad Bhagavatam, and you were picking the critical 5 of them, which is very important. He is a simple person, does not think too much. And he took the very nice example of the bull story. And he's very focused on one thing, which is, only about Krishna, serving and pleasing Krishna. He talked about the hearing is, if the hearing is, if your hearing is simple, but the mind is not complicated. So we have to keep our mind also very simple. The person depends only on Krishna. And this was very, very important. You were just trying to cover this aspect and, very nicely you just gave those examples. So you said ultimately it was Mother Shabari who actually directed Ram to Sugriva and Hanuman. So again, she was so empowered to do so much. So thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Personally, I really felt, the one complicated thing I was thinking about is not to think too much, not to overthink, which is the most tough aspect of it. So help me out with the first question I put across to you. How can we not think too much? Because I'm trying to say where am I getting into? So please help on that. And then after that question, I'll open it to other devotees.
So before that, I want to thank Mataji for that shloka. In fact, this we had discussed earlier also. The Anudvega Karamba. It is from 17th chapter, shloka number 15. Very nice shloka, wonderful shloka, which is Anudvega Karamvakyam Satyam Priyamitam Chayat Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Shaiva Vanmayam Tapa Uchyate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. He said, austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So thank you so much, Mother. That's a wonderful verse. We all should really, and if you read the purport also, it's really wonderful point that Prabhupada. And Ravi Lakshan Goram, your question was about overthinking, is what you said, or?
Yes, Prabhu, I was talking of overthinking. Yeah.
In which context is that from a?
No, like I mean, the simple person doesn't think too much. He acts more on that. So I was just trying to say, generally by nature, I mean, think too much about before you act. I mean, it's in a mood to serve well is okay, but still overthinking is sometimes also, it's like doubting or not sure. So I was just trying to say how in the devotional service we act rather than think too much. Is it good that way? Because we do planning, a lot of things we do, but how do we maintain a balance?
It is, and how do I say that? If these thoughts are with Krishna, whether it is from the simple fact is, if it is helping our Krishna consciousness, if it is helping raise the level of our Krishna consciousness, it is a good thought to have. But if it is being detrimental to our Krishna consciousness, if it is going to agitate us, forget others, because getting ourselves agitated first is very important. So if it is going to agitate us, that particular overthinking or particular that thought process or that anxiety is going to get built in, it is better to avoid. It is easier said than done, Prabhuji, it is, it eventually comes from practice. I mean, for me also, at times there is anxiety which happens, but then if you take shelter of devotees at that particular point where you, first and foremost is consciously understanding that I'm getting into a wrong, area where I'm going to get hit myself with this overthinking. So that if that awareness is there, then only we take the next step of, trying to avoid that. So if we, first point will be definitely consciously be aware and alert that yes, I'm going to a zone where I might get into a lot of overthinking and all these things. It is case to case basis also provided in the situation where we are. If it needs kind of a lot of thought process to be given, so that again, the foundation, the basic principle is, if it is favorable to Krishna consciousness, go ahead. If it is detrimental, if it is going to impact, retract. So that if that awareness is there, I think automatically all the thought process, all the should become simplified. Even though we might do so, when there is service and all, we do a lot of planning and stuff, right? So that also is there. We do interact with devotees and all. But if it is all is benefiting our Krishna consciousness, we can go ahead. But if it is detrimental, consciously retract. I think that could be one other step that we can take as of now.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So, I was just trying to see in the context of, let's say, instruction from a higher authority or spiritual master.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're saying the mood should be more of not questioning and challenging that, rather to say, spend time on how you can execute it. So, are you saying the thinking can be used towards how, then why? Are you saying that? Maybe something like that? I'm just trying to get it.
That is one aspect, but the most important aspect is whatever the result be. That is where the challenge comes in. That is where the anxiety builds in. Whatever the result be, whether good, whether favorable or unfavorable to us. If it is favorable to Krishna, don't get into that anxiety mode, especially after the service. So, but yes, the instructions from the spiritual master, definitely it will be favorable to our Krishna consciousness. Just follow that with simple faith.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Devotees, you can just share your questions or comments. We can take a couple of them.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I don't have a question. I learned a lot from today's class. And what you told about Lakshmana, Rama tells him to eat the berries. If you don't eat now, you'll have to eat in a different form. That was a nice learning, Prabhu. Also, about the lessons from what we learned from this particular Shabari's liberation. And you told about who is a simple person. Yes, Prabhu. And like Prabhu, what you were discussing with Ganpati Prabhu, when such a thing comes, Prabhu, we also know about the surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam we can do. Or when it is not, as you said, it's not easy to practice, easy to tell. It is not the best thing. What I have found now, Prabhu, when such a thing, I start chanting. Not necessary beats, just start chanting. So till that thought goes away from me, I do the chanting.
Perfect.
Yes, Prabhu.
Take shelter at that. That's all.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
And Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I missed the first few minutes of the class. What was Shabari in the previous birth, Prabhu?
Sorry, Mataji, what was that?
What was Mother Shabari in the previous birth?
Previous birth, she was a queen. But being a queen, but she was more attached. She wanted to serve. She used to see a lot of saintly persons, sadhus and all. So she wanted to serve them. But she was being, she was not allowed to do that. And saying that, you are a queen, you are in the royal palace, and why you have to get into that low level and all this. So that's how she was being refused to do service. But she was more inclined to do seva to the sadhus. And that's when, out of depression and then she ended her life in the, she ended her life and I think in Ganges. And then she took rebirth in the Nishada community.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Balaji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, it was a very wonderful, nice nectarian class, Prabhu. Prabhuji, you are giving a reference of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is 2.2.24, is it, Prabhu?
No. It is for the last this thing. It is for which particular piece, Prabhuji?
The quality, the
Simplicity.
items of
Simplicity. It is
simplicity.
4.22.24 probably. 4.22.24. Ahimsaya Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa.
4.22.24.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Danda Dhanmapali Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to share what I heard from the classes by a special feature of Mother Shabari, and which also describes about the relationship between Guru and disciple. Mother Shabari was instructed by her Guru, Matanga Rishi, that one day Lord will come. So from that moment, every day she was cleaning her hut, she was collecting flowers, she was collecting the fruits, and she was waiting continuously for 20 years. Any moment the Lord will come.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to share. This is a very a special pastime of Mother Shabari.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. Yes, he was always alert and aware that yes, anytime the Lord can come. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
In fact, for us, we may not be at that level of Mother Shabari where we our spiritual masters told that yes, the Lord will come, but for us, I think every moment is like that, where Krishna somehow the other way through our spiritual master or devotees gives us pointer that please come back, please be alert and aware. For us, it is actually every moment. It is like that.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. I just wanted to clear. Matanga Rishi went to some other place, Prabhu, so that mother.
No, he went. He left this mortal world, mother. He
okay.
went back to God again.
Can Shabari then go back and serve the spiritual master, Prabhu? The doubt I've got. Once she goes to spiritual world, they will be serving Lord Krishna, no, Prabhu?
We basically, our spiritual master are with Krishna only. For us, all of us, Mataji,
yes.
Directly or indirectly, we serve Krishna only. Yeah, so we all have our services. Whatever we are doing here, we all have our services over there in the spiritual world. So whether it is Krishna or you serve, because see, in Goloka also, there are the 8 manjaris are there, 8 sakis, Ashta sakis are there, right? Then there is another group, the manjaris are there. Then another group. So like that, there is levels, right? So you basically serve the devotees who are serving the devotees, who are serving the devotees, who are serving the devotees, who are finally serving Krishna.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
And that is what is our instructions also, right? Gopi Bharatur Padakamayor, Dasanasa.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. So when we go back, we'll serve Lord through our spiritual master.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that enlightenment, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sri Balaji Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhuji, I just thought of sharing one, reflection.
Yeah.
I think we were mentioning about this overthinking, right, Prabhuji? So I see this overthinking in 2 dimensions, Prabhu. One is like what you mentioned, favorable. The other one is unfavorable. The typical tendency I'm talking about, my tendency is that I overthink those situations, which is with respect to trusting the words of the scriptures. Like you were mentioning about Jambudvipa, we have been going through the various slokas of Jambudvipa, and it is bit having such a materialistic mind. It is bit difficult to comprehend and understand. Those areas is where I overthink. Whereas I should not be overthinking that. But another area is we have to overthink in certain a situation when we have a service, and we have to immerse ourselves, overthink, go to the detail, see how meticulously we can execute. So that overthink would be really favorable to Krishna consciousness. Whereas overthinking on challenging or not accepting the scriptures, I think that's a real.
That is detrimental, correct. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful.
Prabhuji, one more thing, Prabhu, with respect to Shabari, I think Dayama Prabhu touched upon it. the patience and endurance, Prabhu, that is, really something amazing, because we, the moment when we start chanting, 16 rounds, we start telling that I don't get the taste, I am not getting this, I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
And the faith Shabari Mata had, the instructions of her Guru Maharaj, our spiritual master, and she didn't know when that day will come where Lord Ram and Lakshman will come. But every day, she was actually as if they are going to come on that day. That patience, endurance, and you mentioned about enthusiasm. That's really, really amazing, Prabhu.
Yes.
That's something.
Certainly.
As a sadhaka devotee, if we can get an iota of that, that will make a big impact. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class.
In fact, Prabhuji, as Grihasthas, don't you believe that every moment for us, we have to have this eagerness, enthusiasm, patience, tolerance. Since we are practicing, every moment is like that, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shri Balaji Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad.
Prasad Shri Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So wonderful, Prabhu. So wonderful. So please shower your mercy on us also, so that we can also get little. Thank you, Prabhu. So nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prasadeshwar Prabhu is one person who is walking with such enthusiasm.
Yes.
I think I have seen him.
No doubt about it.
Very close.
There is no dearth. There is no dearth, and there is no doubt about it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a good churn of today. I think we had one of the record number of people sharing their comments and questions, and very nice. That's very nice. And tomorrow is the most auspicious Sri Ram Navami, so we'll have the temple program. And tomorrow is also fasting till noon. So please join us. We'll have the live session with all the nectar. So we'll have the usual starting time as well. Please join us tomorrow. Thank you, Sri Balaji Prabhu, again for a wonderful association, sharing all this nectar of Mother Shabari. So we'll just end the session with the Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And His Grace Balaji Prabhu ki jai. Sri Balaji Prabhu ki jai. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.